What is up, everybody? Time for round 2 of making decks. Today we are going to make a deck based off one of the newer cards in the Duskmourn set. I think his name is Victor Valgavoth. Yes. We're going to just name him Victor for short. Add that to our thing. He's not out yet, so he's going to be highlighted in red, but once he comes out, he'll be legal. Basically, what he does is whenever an enchantment you control enters the room, whenever an enchantment you control enters, and whenever you fully unlock a room, survey 2. If it's the first time it's happened, you survey 2. If it's the second time, each opponent discards a card. So you got 3 opponents in Commander, each one discards a card. That's pretty good. And then if it's the third time, you put a random creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. So if someone drops a big monster that they haven't played, don't think they can play in a few turns, you can just get that for free. So a lot of potential here. And I was looking into the room mechanic a bit, and basically there's these new room cards. If we go to Scryfall, and if we do an advanced search, the type is going to be room. And basically, rooms are enchantments. And if we just search for these are all the rooms that have been announced. I don't know if there's going to be more rooms, less rooms, but basically we want doll makers and funeral room because we are playing in white-black. We'll start our deck with these 2 cards. This one is whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. And then the other side is when you unlock this door, return all creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. So if you have a bunch of creatures in your graveyard, you'll get a bunch of things just slapped onto the field for 8 mana, which is a lot, but by turn 8 you should have a few creatures you can utilize this for. And then basically the way rooms work is if you pay the cost of one of these, you unlock it immediately, and then you can unlock the other side of the room as a sorcery later on. So say we pay 3 mana, we get Funeral Room's effect as an enchantment effect immediately, and then we can unlock Awakening Halls. So basically you have an enchantment with 2 effects on it. That's pretty solid. I don't see a reason not to throw these in our room deck. But only having 2 rooms is not a lot to play off of. So let's grab Funeral Room and Doll Maker. Not a lot to play off of. Plus these rooms, I mean, they're not going to win you the game or anything. What's really going to win us the game is playing off of people's graveyards. So what I do like about this is this deck might scale a little to the table. You're not going to be too strong if the people you're playing against is not that strong either. So that I do like that factor when I'm making decks as well. This one is all in Japanese, and so we can't really read it too well. It says at the beginning of your end step, draw a card if you control a demon. Each opponent loses 2 life, you gain 2 life, otherwise you lose 2 life. So if we don't have any demons on the field, we draw a card, lose 2 life. If we do have a demon, we draw a card, gain life, 2 life. That's okay card draw, I guess, but you're also drawing a card losing 2 life, which can add up a lot of times. When you unlock this door, create a 6/6 black demon. So you get a demon if you unlock the other side of the room. So maybe you won't be losing life too often. Unholy lobby. Let's just throw this in there too. Really go commit to the theme. Unholy lobby, ritual chamber. So we already have 3 cards out of 100. Not bad. But I'm probably not going to lean too hard into demons. I'm probably just going to go straight cheap enchantments and see where that takes us. So now let's go to EDH Rec and let's look up Victor Valgavoth. This guy. Alright. Why does it look like that? Okay, there we go. Let's see, he's got a lair, Valgavoth's lair. Add 1 mana of the chosen color, hexproof land. I mean, it enters tapped. That's not amazing. This is an enchantment for 1 drop. Flash, enchant a creature you control. As long as Shard Mage's Rescue enters this turn. These are really small. Let's see if we can make them bigger. There we go. As long as Shard Mage's Rescue enter this turn, enchanted creature has hexproof. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1. That's not amazing. But it's a 1-drop enchantment. And yeah, can't really. Because our main thing is we want to at least proc his ability twice every turn. So a 1-drop enchantment, even though the effect is not that great, it still can get us to discard things. So it's also got flash, so we could potentially activate his ability on a different turn. I forgot what survey does. What does survey do? I think it's just like draw. Look at the 2 on the top of your deck, put them in the graveyard, or keep them on top. So let's add Shard Mages. That doesn't seem too bad. It's just a 1-drop enchantment. We can get rid of this now. If we find better 1-drops, what is this? Oh, it hasn't been released yet. Oh, that's on Duskmourn too? Okay, that's fine. Oh, a legendary enchantment, Meat Hook Massacre. That might be our game ender right there. Let's see what it does. When Meat Hook Massacre 2 enters, each player sacrifices X creatures. Whenever a creature you control dies, you may pay 3 life. If you do, return that card under your control with a finality counter. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, they may pay 3 life. If they don't, return that card under your control with a finality counter. I think that's pretty good. Stealing people's monsters late in the game or creatures is not too bad, not too shabby. I think I accidentally opened something. That's fine. Let's see. We got a 3-drop enchantment here. Whenever 1 or more other creatures you control with power 2 or less enter, I did open something. Alright, Curse Forge. No, thank you. This ability triggers only each only once each turn. So this is card draw. An enduring instance dies if it was a creature, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. It's an enchantment. Okay, so this is an enchantment creature. When it dies, it just comes back as an enchantment. That sounds pretty good to me. Throw that bad boy in there. We're going to need some card draws, so let's get Mesa in there. Pretty cheap card draw. Whenever we cast enchantment, we are going to be casting a lot of enchantments. This is a big enchantment creature. When Doom, Wake, Giant, or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control creatures, your opponent's control get -1/-1 until the end of the turn. That's not too bad. Gets rid of a lot of tokens. Fucks with the token decks. Spirited Companion, 2-drop enchantment. We mainly want to go into the enchantment creatures because that's where a lot of our power is going to be from, is getting rid of people's cards, getting rid of their hands, and then we can save a big turn for casting 3 enchantments and just pop off, get a bunch of people's get people's creatures from their graveyards whenever we want. Waste not, 2-drop enchantment. Whenever our opponent discards a creature card, create a 2/2 zombie. Get mana when they discard a land, and whenever opponent discards a non-creature, non-land, you draw a card. That sounds like it was made for this deck. Let's see. Enchantment spells cost 1 less to cast. That sounds good to me. Cheap 2-drop. No big deal. Darksteel Mutation, an enchantment aura. Cheap. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature is an insect. Loses all other abilities. That's good. You can just drop that on someone's commander, and it just makes their commander useless until they get rid of that enchantment. Another enchantment creature, 1-drop. We will take those. Let's see. Demon of Fate's Design. Another enchantment creature. This one's a little expensive. Flying Trample. Once during each of your turns, you may cast an enchantment spell by paying life instead of paying its mana. Sacrifice another enchantment. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. We kind of like this for its first ability. Its second ability, probably not going to use that much. Sacrifice Seals of Cleansing, destroy target artifact or enchantment. That's not horrible. It procs our commander and then gets rid of someone else's artifact or enchantment. Whenever enchantment enters in battlefield under your control, you may create a token that's a copy of it. Do this only once each turn. That is awesome. It's a little expensive, 5-drop, but if we can hold out till turn 5, every enchantment we cast procs Victor's ability twice. I don't see anything wrong with that. Let's see. Animate Dead. Enchant creature in a graveyard. Enchant creature card in a graveyard and gains enchant creature put onto the battlefield with Animate Dead. Return enchanted creature card to the battlefield under your control. Attach Animate Dead, and when Animate Dead leaves the battlefield, that creature's controller sacrifice. Okay. I like it. Let's see, we're trying to... We're trying to get as many cheap enchantments as we can into the deck. Whenever Grim, Guardian, or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life. That's good. Let's see. When Lord Skitter's Blessing enters the battlefield, create a Wicked Roll token attached to target creature. I think rolls and Wicked Rolls are also enchantments. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that might also just give us 2 enchantment enters. We might have to look into the rolls. Let's see. See if Scry will tell us. Yeah, rolls are enchantments. Yeah, token enchantments. So we definitely want to get things that spawn us rolls, because that will proc Victor's ability as well. Phyrexian Arena just gives us more card draw. I don't hate it. I don't despise that. Let's throw it in there. We can get rid of it if we think we don't need it. Card draw is always good though. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, choose one or more. Create a treasure token. You lose 1 life. Draw a card, you lose 2 life. Oh, that's Black Market. Yeah. Black Market is good. I'll see why not. For Black Market. Swords is usually needed in white decks because it just exiles things that are indestructible for 1 mana. Let's see. Thought Render, Lamia. Another jet enters the battlefield. Each opponent discards a card. That's a little expensive for our taste. Starfields of Nyx. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay. As long as you control 5 or more enchantments, each other non-aurora enchantment you control is a creature in addition to its other types and has base power and base toughness equal to its mana value. That sounds like it could come in handy. Not gonna lie. I like that idea. I've never made an enchantments deck, so I'm just winging it here, freeballing it. Let's see, Spellbook Vendor. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 1. When you do, create a Sorcerer Roll token attached to target creature you control. It's a 2-drop, and then you get an enchantment immediately after, once you hit combat. So that's not bad, and then you just keep getting enchantments every turn, 1 at a time. That's not horrible. I like that. Alright, creatures. We mainly want enchantment creatures. Or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. Pay 1 life, each opponent loses 1 life. Alright, it's an enchantment creature. It's cheap. I don't see why not. Let's see, legendary creature. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you get an experience counter. But no, white and black spirit enchantment creature token onto the battlefield. As this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of experience counters you have. So we put a spirit enchantment for 3. Whenever we cast an enchantment, we get experience counters. I feel like this is just gonna get removed before it gets big enough to do anything. Starham Coiser, artifact enchantments you cast cost 1 less to cast. Yeah, sure, why not? We like casting our things for cheaper. If your Lost Teeth dies, it deals 1 damage to any target and you gain 1 life. We mainly want this because it's a 1-drop enchantment creature. A legendary enchantment creature. It's a god. White and black. Devotion. At the beginning of your end step, put a coin counter on another target creature. Whenever a creature with a coin counter on it dies or is put to return that card to the battlefield under your control. Oh, we have a lot of expensive stuff already. Why not 1 more? If our mana curve's too rough, we can get rid of it. Let's see, enchantment creature, 1-drop, sacrifice an artifact or creature, draw a card. So 1-drop and gives us card draw if we are desperate for it. It's not bad. Sun Titan. Indebted Spirit. Bestow 3. What does Bestow do? If you cast this card for its bestow cost, it's an aura spell with enchant creature. It becomes a creature again if it's not attached. Okay. Afterlife 1, when this permanent is put into graveyard from the battlefield, create a 1/1 white and black spirit. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has Afterlife 1. It's a 1-drop. Basically what we're going to do, hit turn 3, drop Victor. And then turn after that, we're going to try to cast as many 1-drops as we can. 1-drop enchantments, 1-drop enchantment creatures, and just start milling people. And then once we get a good creature card, we'll start attacking people with their own creatures, and that sounds pretty fun. Dwarf is not what we're looking for. Enchantment creature, Spirit of Labyrinth. Each player can't draw more than 1 card each turn. This slows the game down a little and maybe makes some room for you if you need it. That's not too horrible. But it also means you can't draw more than 1 card, so be careful with that one. I think this has to do with like protection from vampires. Okay, so if this is in the graveyard, you can transform it for 5 mana. Its power and total each equals the number of permanents you control that are spirits and / or enchantments. Spirits and enchantments. So its power could get pretty strong. It's got flying, lifelink, and protection from vampires. What's its enchantment? Its enchantment is enchant creature. Enchanted creature has flying, lifelink, and protection from vampires, and it gets +X special where X is number of permanents you control that are spirits and or enchantments. Then when it dies, it gets exiled. It does play into our enchantments a little. It's kind of slow though. It's also expensive to get back out on the field. But we'll see where we're at. That might be one of our cards we remove later on. Legendary enchantment creature, God. Indestructible. As long as your devotion to black is less than 5, Erebos isn't a creature. Your opponents can't gain life. I mean, it's an enchantment creature, but pay 2 life, draw a card. I think I'm going to leave that one out. Sheoldred is exile. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature or planeswalker. Menace, 3/5 drop. Exile Children, return it to the battlefield, transform it on its control. Activate only as a sorcery, and only if the opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard. For each opponent, destroy up to 1 target creature. Each opponent discards 3 cards, then mills 3 cards. Put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. I mean, this is a good late game card, but I doubt we're ever going to get to use it. I think I'm just going to leave that there. Alright, we got Griffin, 2-drop enchantment creature. Aura spells you cast cost 1 last to cast. Do we have aura spells? I think we have a few auras. Switch that printing so that we can read it. Yeah, there's an aura, there's an aura. We're probably going to get more auras later on. Two auras. I don't know. It's a flying 1-drop. We'll see about that one. Might remove that one too later. We got a cat nightmare. No to that one. When Witch Enchanter enters the battlefield, destroy target artifact or enchantment and opponent controls. It's a land as well. I do not want that. Enchantment creature. It's a snake. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. When Endorian dies, it was a creature. Return it to the battlefield under his owner's control. It's an enchantment. So it's a creature. It comes back as an enchantment. That's not horrible. You can swing with it without being too scared. You'll still get enchantment back. I like it. Alright, another enchantment creature. It's a nightmare. When Fear of Mobility enters, tap up to 1 target creature. If an opponent controls that creature, put a stun counter on it. No. Too expensive. Not enough payout. Sacrifice Valgavoth's Fateful. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. And you can just get anything you want out of the graveyard. We are going to be throwing things into the graveyard. It's also Valgavoth's card. Flavor? We put that in for flavor? Why not? Harpy, 4-drop flying at the beginning of combat on your turn. Each player mills 3 cards. That's pretty good. I don't usually do mill, but that helps Victor out a lot. It's also an enchantment creature. Heliod. Gives everything vigilance. Meh. When an enchantment you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. Gives us card draw. It's not an enchantment creature though. We'll throw that in there. We might get rid of that as well. Overlord of Mistmoors. It's got that impending doom. New mechanic. just gets time counters. When Overlord of the Mistborn enters or attacks, create 2 white insect creature tokens with fly. I think we're passing on that one. Too expensive. Probably never actually going to see the light of day. Night Howler, enchantment creature. Night Howler and enchanted creature each get +X, where X is the number of creature cards in all graveyards. That sounds like it could be useful. We like Night Howler. Let's see. Core, Spirit Dancer gets +2/+2 for each aura attached to it. Whenever you cast aura spell, you may draw a card. Yeah, I don't know if we're casting auras that much. We're going to be casting enchantment creatures. Draw a card for each aura you control that was attached to it. Okay. That's a 1-drop enchantment creature. Plays really good into our... Now Aethros got a passage, is really strong. It basically just makes our creatures go back to our hands. For 3, it's indestructible. Let's go. Let's throw that bad boy in there. We're trying to keep all of our cards a little less expensive. I'm trying to keep everything under $20, but we'll see what the end price is. Let's see, Tiramet is a 2-drop enchantment creature. Its toughness is equal to your devotion. Okay. Exile up to 2 target cards from graveyards. You gain 1 life for each creature card exiled this way. I don't think I want this guy in there. We want to bring the creature cards from the graveyard to our side of the field, not exile them. Unless the cards they exile are just absolutely dog water, then I guess we can use that. It's also a 2-drop. Turn 2 proc, or turn 3 proc, if we can. Spirit creature, enchantment creature, insect. When Brain Maggot enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals his or her hand and you choose a non-land card from it. Exile that card until Brain Maggot leaves the battlefield. That just gives us more control over people's hands. It's just 1 card, though not 3 cards. But it's also really cheap, 2-drop. Let's see, we got a legendary enchantment horror. At the beginning of your end step, exile the bottom card of each opponent's library. Face down. For as long as those cards remain exiled, you may look at them. You may cast permanent spells from among them, and you may spend mana as though if it were mana of any color to cast those spells. That's a 7-drop. I think that would be a cool commander. I don't think I'm going to put it in this deck, though. Get some mana ramp and throw this guy, slap him down, and then just start taking people's stuff from the bottom of their deck, which doesn't feel too unfair for them, but it could be pretty stonks for you. Alright, anyway. Hopeful Adalian. Bestow 3. Lifelink. Enchanted creature. Gets +1/+1 and has lifelink. 1 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 lifelink. It's a 1-drop lifelink enchantment creature. Celestial Ancient could get out of hand pretty quick. It gets +1/+1 counters on all creatures whenever you cast an enchantment. But you can't cast it till turn 5, maybe 4 if we have a ramp. Aegis of the Gods gives just you hexproof. People can't target you anymore. That's pretty cool. Let's grab that guy. He's also an enchantment creature. I think I'm going to skip on these two. I don't know, 1-drop enchantments are cool. Yeah, I don't think that card's very good at all. Denitha Benila's Hope, no. Nightmare Shepherd. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you may exile it. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's a 1/1, and it's a nightmare. So this just saves our enchantments and brings them back. I think that's pretty cool. We have 30 creatures now. I don't think these are more like Umbra Mystic and what's her name, Light Paws and all that are more like leaning into the auras instead of enchantments. Aura Master, basically she just grabs you an enchantment from your graveyard, but we already do that a lot. Path to Exile, let's grab that. I like running Path to Exile and Swords. If you guys haven't realized, I think they're very vital in getting rid of important things. Let's see. Enlightened Tutor, search your library for an artifact or enchantment. That's good, but what would we even grab? I mean, I guess we could grab these strong fat boys if we wanted to. We could grab a cheap 1-drop to proc Victors. We could there's a lot of things we could do with Enlightened Tutor. I usually don't throw tutors in there. It's also $20. That goes against my $20 rule. Let's see, do we have anything else that's over 20? Let's sort by price. Aetheros is 13, 37 on a good day. Yeah. Meat Hook Massacre is $30. I think that's just because he's not out yet and people haven't pulled him. He's probably going to go down in price. Trust. He's also very expensive for what he does, mana-wise. Let's see. I think Unwanted Remix pretty cool. Puts things in opponent's graveyards, gets rid of a creature. Could be really good. Generous Gift is good, but don't think I want that in this deck. Vampiric Tutor's $40. It's the only tutor I actually own. Exile, because I pulled it in a random pack. Exile target opponent with mana value 4 or greater. I mean, that could be good, but I think that we're good on that. Teferi's Protection. No. Ephemerate. Exile target creature you control, then returns battlefield. I mean, I guess you could bounce an enchantment and proc Victor's ability twice with that card, which isn't too bad. You can also hold it and save it and bounce your commander if you needed to. That's useful. We'll use that. Go for the throw, destroy target creature planeswalker, return target spell on his hand. Ink Shield. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to you this turn for 1 damage. We don't really want protection. Dark Ritual could be good. It's also a lot cheaper than I remember it being. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or planeswalker. Let's grab a Dark Ritual. That could be useful for our expensive cards. Get our expensive cards out turn 2 or 3 and not worry about them as much. Brilliant Restoration. Now, that's pretty cool. That gets all the stuff that's been thrown into your graveyard back to the battlefield. Extinguishing All Hope is a board wipe for everyone but you, since we're mainly playing enchantment creatures. That's going in there. Resurgent Belief is cheaper. Brilliant. Also makes opponents think before they destroy your stuff. I do like Brilliant. I doubt we're ever going to have 7 mana to throw it down, though. Let's try Resurgent Belief. If it doesn't work out, Cleansing just destroys all enchantments. I don't think I care about that. Idyllic Tutor, cheaper version of, what's it called? Enlightened Tutor, cheaper as in costs. So I think I'm going to throw an Idyllic Tutor in there. DM is pretty good. But I don't think I want it. Usually for board wipes, I just throw Farewell in there. And then one more of something else. And if I really feel like I need another board wipe, I'll throw something like Dam or something else. Return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to play. That's 4-drop. That's a $90 4-drop. Okay, no thank you. Let's see. Destroy target creature enchantment and upon controls. Lots of black stuff. I don't think I want all this black stuff. Winds of Wrath also. I don't know if enchanted creatures are enchanted. Like, is an enchantment creature enchanted? That's hard to say. I don't think it is, though. Enchantment creatures are not enchanted unless they have an enchantment equipped to them. Put that card into your hand. Toxic Deluge. It's a lot cheaper than it used to be. I think Toxic Deluge is kind of a staple. Also, board wipes are good because if we board wipe, even if we lose our commander, if we get our commander back out, we can just pull whatever we want from anyone's graveyard. So the strongest creature that was on the field, grab it out, and then you're the threat again. Guess Grimmer? 4-drop. I don't think I want that. Lightning Grease. We do want some protection for our commander. So Lightning Grease is solid. We want Lightning Grease and the other one. Lightning Grease and Swiftfoot. Yes. Those are my go-to cards for commander protection. I'm kind of just skimming over these because they kind of seem useless. Cloudstone isn't completely useless. It bounces things back to our hand so we can proc our commander ability. But also, I think I'd rather just have card draw instead of doing that. I'd rather have a bunch of different enchantments out. Ghostly Prison. A lot of people don't like stacks. I don't really love playing against stacks, but I think throwing one Ghostly Prison on there is not going to get me shot, you know? We'll be fine. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, mill 3 cards, then you may pay 1 and 3 life. If you do, put a card from among those cards into your hand. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you mill 3 cards. We do like having cards in our graveyard. We do have a lot of strong cards. We mainly want to play out of other people's graveyards, though. So I think I'm going to leave that one. Hollowed Haunting. 7 or more enchantments. Creatures you control have flying and vigilance. That sounds cool. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, create a white spirit cleric. Creature token that with this creature's power and toughness are equal to the number of spirits you control. That could pop off. That sounds fun to play with. I like playing with different things, like Smothering Tithe. I don't want to put that in there. Blind Obedience. No. Nowhere to run. I mean, I could make this a painful stacks deck, but I don't think I want to do that. Blind Obedience is pretty cheap, though. It's like 2-drop. We'll grab Blind Obedience too. Like, it's just such a good card. It slows the game down for your opponents so you can catch up if you need to. Alright, Nowhere to Run. What does this do? Flash? Okay, like it. When Nowhere to Run enters, target creature opponent controls gets -3/-3 until the end of turn. Creatures your opponents control can be the targets of spells and ability as though they didn't have Hexproof Ward. Abilities of those creatures don't trigger. Oh, okay, so it removes Hexproof and Ward, all that stuff. I like that. That's pretty cool. Grasp of Fate enters the battlefield for each opponent. Exile up to one target non-land permanent that player controls until Grass leaves. Exiles 3 things. For 3 mana? That's pretty good. Necromancy. I think this has like some crazy combos you can pop off with it. From a graveyard onto the battlefield. Under control and attach necromancy. When necromancy leaves the battlefield, that creature's controller is sacrificed. If you cast it at any time, a sorcery couldn't have been cast. The controller of the permanent, it becomes sacrifices it at the beginning of the next cleanup step. So basically you steal someone's creature card from the graveyard. And if it leaves the battlefield, the person sacrifices it. So that kind of fits with our theme, so I'm going to grab it. It's only $8. Not the end of the world. Creatures can attack you or planeswalk. That's more stacks. Not feeling that today. Ethereal Armor. First strike. +1/+1. Sure, why not? It's a 1-drop. How many we got over there? 63? Okay, land tax. No. If an opponent controls more lands than you, you may search your library for up to 3 basic land cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, and show. I mean, that's a good card. It's right under our $20 threshold. I think that's going to be our expensive card in the deck. It's a 1-drop, and it gets you lands. We can search for it with our Idyllic Tutor. Enchant creature or planeswalker control. When enchanted permanent dies or is put into exile, return that card to the battlefield. That's just protection for our commander. It's also a 1-drop tap. Whenever a creature opponent enters the battlefield under opponent's control, you gain 1 life. Yeah, sure, why not? That's a 1-drop. That's kind of expensive. It's our most expensive enchantment. I think I'm gonna leave this one out just for price reasons. Bandit's Talent. We definitely want this guy. There's also another one that came out of Bloomborough. Can't remember. I think it's called Talent. Something. Scavenger's Talent. Let's see what this guy does. When 1 or more creatures you control die, create a food token. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, target player mills 2 cards. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice 3 other on the permanence. If you do, return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter. That's not bad. It's a 1-drop enchantment. Gives us food. Yeah, let's throw that in there. Scavenger. Alright. Let's see. More enchantments. Let's go. I think I'm gonna grab this because it gives all my enchantments Shroud. That's pretty good. Whenever an enchantment spell, create an angel creature token with flying. That's expensive though. Whenever spell, we're looking for cheap enchantments now, not expensive ones that cost 5 mana. This gives us more protection in a different, weird, funky way. I kind of like it. Swift reconfiguration. Enchant creature or vehicle. Enchanted permanent is a vehicle artifact with crew 5 and it loses all other card types. I don't think that's going to do us anything justice. Enchant basic lands you control. When ossification enters the battlefield, exile target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls until it leaves. Yeah. That's pretty strong. It doesn't leave the battlefield unless people are playing land destruction, which is very rare. Tiny Bones. When Tiny Bones joins up, enters the battlefield, any number of target players each discard a card. Whenever a legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, any number of target players each mill a card. That's pretty good, and hopefully we'll be stealing some legendary cards from our opponent's graveyards. Let's see. How do you say that? Chthonian? Nightmare? Chthonian enters, you get energy, pay X energy, sacrifice a creature, and we are not doing energy stuff. A lot of enchantments are 3-drops. I like this one because it gives our creatures death touch. We also have another enchantment that gives first strike. Non-black creature, it can't be generated. That's a lot, that's a lot. Legendary enchantment. When Meat Massacre enters the battlefield, each creature gets -6 on the turn. Whenever creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Whenever creature and opponent dies, you gain 1 life. That's $40. No thank you. Whenever opponent discards a card, that player loses 2 life. We are gonna try to make them discard a lot, so I like that. All that glitters. I think this is that rune. Yeah, we already added that. Whenever opponent discards card, you may put a quest counter on quest for the Nihil Stone. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has no cards in hand and quest counter has 2 or more quest counters, you may have that player lose 5 life. That sounds good to me. Alright. It's also cheap, 1-drop. So we'll probably play that on our first turn if we do get it. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, and each opponent discards a card. Put target creature or planeswalker card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your... That's exactly what we've been doing this whole game, or the whole time, so let's get that in there. Soul Snare, sacrifice Soul Snare, exile target creature. that's attacking you or in a planeswalker you control. I like this because it's kind of like sitting there and like asking someone to mess with you, you know? So let's keep that. I think we are at the end of the road. I do like that. Pay 1 life to draw a card. Let's grab that and throw it in there, and then let's see, we have 77 in the main deck. Let's see if we can get rid of 7 cards. What's the ones that I said we probably should get rid of? I think I don't want this one. Yeah, let's remove Fateful. I do like this card draw. I think that's going to be some useful card draw. Let's sort by expensive mana value. Yes. Alright, let's try to get rid of some expensive stuff. This one. I think I'm going to remove this one. When Enduring Tenacity dies, if it was a creature, return it to the battlefield under its... Yeah, I think I'm just going to... I don't gain a lot of life, so I think I'm just going to remove that one. It's got Bestow for 4. I think I'm going to remove that too. Let's see, what else? We have 3 cards we gotta get rid of. Hollowed Haunting is looking a little scuffy. You need 7 enchantments in order for this to even trigger, which is not impossible, but also if someone gets rid of one of your enchantments, you're screwed. Let's see. I like that. I like Starfield as well. We gotta get rid of 2 more things. These are our rooms. They're actually not expensive cards. Their second half is expensive, but their first half is 2, 3, 3. Said there was another card up here that I kind of wanted to get rid of. I think I want to get rid of Dockside Chef. Sacrifice an artifact or creature, draw a card. Yeah, I think I'm going to remove Dockside. We have plenty of card draw in here already. Spellbook Vendor. I said I was going to lean into the rolls a little more, but let's see if we can find. Let's go to advanced search here. Type in roll token here. Put white, black, including these colors, and then search. Do we have any cheap ones? Not really this guy. I don't know why he's in a different language. He looks kinda cool. Soren Takasa. I don't know Spanish. This guy? No. We want mana artifacts like Saurine, Arcane Signet. I think I want Talisman of Hierarchy and Arcane Signet. I don't think Soaring is gonna make any big explosive plays here. So I'm gonna leave Soaring out. Thought Bissell could be useful, but lands, there's no planeswalkers. I wanted to add like one planeswalker, but that's fine. We don't need planeswalkers to play the game. I do think they're very strong cards, though. Let's see, we're at 73. We added a Arcane Signet and a Talisman. That's fine. Let's see, what else can we remove here? Let's look for non-enchantment creatures. This guy. Yeah, that's fine. Spellbook of Vendor is pretty good too. Let's see. Fleshing things out is probably the hardest part of making decks. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you draw a card. That's just good. This is nothing but enchantment cards. This, you draw a card for every enchantment that's put into the graveyard, but it's not an enchantment itself. I think our creature base is solid. I think everything else is solid. Land tax, solid. Let's switch its printing to something more modern. Why is it so expensive? I've played against land tax before. It's not super oppressive. It just makes sure that you don't fall behind the mana curve. think that's good. I think all we need to do is add lands, and that's it. Probably going to end the video here since adding lands is not that fun. Usually I make sure I have at least 30 lands. I think I'm going to get rid of Ghostly Prison. No, I don't. I need to get rid of 3 more cards. Let's see. There was that one that was like draw for each aura. Where did that go? Yeah, there it is. Aura spells you cast cost 1 less. Yeah, let's get rid of that. And let's see. I got 2 more. Decisions. That's not horrible, but probably. I think this can probably go. We're not doing blink stuff really. Dark Ritual's fine. 1 more card. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Yes. Alright. So now I'm just going to add 30 lands, and that's pretty much it. I will post the deck list in the link so you guys can see the final version of it. And I hope you all have a good day. Let me know in the comments if you feel like it, what you would add, what you'd take away from this deck. I think it's pretty solid. I need to play test it against some friends first, but I'll let you guys know if it does well or not. And yeah, the Kudo deck I made last time did pretty well. It popped off, but I think that deck needs a lot more card draw in order to stay relevant through the late game, because I had my Kudo as a 48/48, but I couldn't put trample on him. I didn't draw the cards I needed to put trample on him, so everyone was just chump blocking him until someone exiled him, and then I was out of gas. I lost the game after that. So yeah, that's how Kudo played out. I'll let you guys know whenever I play Victor next. Hope you guys have a good day, and see you next time.